Hi, John Dwyer here, and let me tell you about the Madura tea case study. For those of you who don't know Madura tea is a premium brand tea here in Australia. And I guess if you said, look, what level is it at? It's at the Twinings level. So therefore, that very famous brand Twinings tea is about the same level as Madura. And if in Australia you went and bought a Lipton box of tea or Bushells box of tea, they are going to be more down market than Madura. And so consequently, Madura were a more expensive tea than your normal box, okay? And they became a member of my coaching program, and they said to me, look, we're in the big supermarket chains in Australia, Woolworths and Coles, and what we're finding is that when they ask us for subsidies for the various catalogues that they put out with letterbox brochures, or for subsidies for their TV advertising, or subsidies for their newspaper advertising, we sort of feel obliged to pay the money and be part of that, but we don't get anything out of it. The advertising where they put our box of tea in with a whole bunch of other things on the catalogue, it just doesn't bring home the bacon. And they said what we'd rather do is devote that money into doing something ourselves and proving to Woolworths and Coles, the big supermarket chains, that we can push traffic and sales of our tea better ourselves than just being part of a conglomerate inside one of their catalogues. And I said, okay. So what I did, as you will see when you read the case study below, is that we came up with a wow factor, or I came up with a wow factor of $1 million giveaway. And this is one of the insured promotions for which elsewhere on this website, if you want to have a look at the products, you'll see that we have a blueprint for this available at a pretty reasonable price if you're interested in doing it. And what it is that you get $1 million from an insurance company for around about $16,000 Australian. That's what it was, okay? And I don't think it's changed much since then. You can get $500,000 for around about $8,000, and you can get $250,000 for about $4,000. Now I know you're scratching your head at the moment going, hang on, who would not want $1 million for 15 or 16 grand? How it works is that obviously your insurance premium is based on the probability of someone winning. And how it works was that at the end of the promotional period, when someone gets drawn, that's what we call the preliminary draw, they're invited then to the boardroom of Madura Tea or to a hotel conference room, and they will have a barrel of 250 envelopes. And inside one of those envelopes is the $1 million. Okay, now there is a insurance company scrutineer at the draw because he wants to make sure that he's got his eyes on everything being run properly. And Mrs. Smith, who might have been drawn in the preliminary draw, just simply puts her hand in the barrel, or if it's across a boardroom table there might be 250 envelopes, and she chooses one of those envelopes, and if the $1 million is inside, well, the insurance scrutineer just hands over the cheque. And if she chooses one of the 249 consolation envelopes, well, of course she wins a consolation prize of whatever that is. Now in this instance it was $10,000, but it could be a car, it could be a year's worth of groceries, it could be a trip to Hawaii. The consolation prize needs to be a decent prize, but the fact is that the $1 million or the $500,000 or the $250,000, whatever it might be, is a 1 in 250 chance. So what we did is that I took it up another level. Rather than what most fast-moving consumer goods do, and they say, look, just scan the barcode or give us the number on the barcode, or not so much scan the barcode, but go to our website and enter the barcode number and you'll get one entry. We took it up a notch. And I'd been used to doing bingos and scratch bingos for the newspapers, and I knew just, how I could really put some extra adrenaline into what already would be a big promotion with the $1 million draw. And that is, as you can see some of the graphics as you go through the case study, we put a sweepstakes ticket in every box, and that sweepstakes ticket was a random number of entries that you actually received. So you might buy a box of Madura tea on one occasion, let's say Tuesday, and on Tuesday you might look at the sweepstakes entry, and on the last 2 digits of, I think it was an 8-digit number, that actually told you how many entries you had received in the competition. So say for example the number was A4071204, that 04, the last 2 digits, would designate that you got 4 entries. If it was number 09, it meant that you got 9 entries, and so on and so forth. You could get up to 10 entries every time you actually bought a box of tea and pulled out the sweepstakes ticket. And the reason for the 8 digits was that you then went to a website and you actually punched in, first of all, basically you got identified to make sure that we knew who you were. That was the first time you went to the website. But thereafter, you actually had a password. It identified you immediately, and you just pumped in your 8-digit code, and it was the last 2 digits would dictate how many entries you got. So it was like a slot machine. It was like a poker machine. And that's what sent the thing crazier than even what it would have been with just the one entry per box, because we had people, because we could check the online entries, we had people buying 29 boxes of tea, loading up their pantry with 29 boxes of Madura tea in 24 hours. Okay, because we could see all the entries that they were putting into the online entry mechanism. They would get 3 entries on one sweepstakes form, and the next one they'd get 9. They'd get excited. They'd buy another box and get 6, and they'd buy another box and get 4. And we saw them. There were people with multiple entries, which meant that they had to be buying multiple boxes of tea. The end result of that was that just in the supermarket chains, which was Woolworths and Coles, within 12 weeks sales were up 31, I think, or 32%. It was quite an incredible result, and it was a promotion that ran over 12 weeks. But not just that, because we were having an online entry mechanism, guess what? We collected over 50,000 customer names. So can you imagine how valuable that would be to the tea company? Can you imagine how they could market products to the consumers thereafter? And I'm going on and on and on all the time to business owners the importance of collecting data. I'm always bitching and moaning about the fact that you can go to a restaurant tonight and I bet you they won't ask who you are, and yet you've probably spent $100 or $200 at the restaurant. Just madness. Can you imagine the text messages they could be sending you next week, or the emails about Chef Pierre's favourite dessert that he's putting on that just came from the MasterChef TV show? Can you imagine being able to fill your restaurant by sending that sort of text message or that sort of email out all the time? Well, of course, hardly any restaurants, in fact 99% of restaurants, don't do that. They don't collect data. But they're not the only ones. There's hardly anybody out there that collects data online or offline. And so in this instance, not only did they increase sales dramatically, which they were very happy about in the 2 big supermarket chains, but also what they did is collected over 50,000 customer details within that period, and that's just worth gold. Very interesting case study. You might like to have a look at the TV commercial. Just by scrolling down and going through and checking out the whole case study, you'll be able to watch the TV ad. Very, very successful implementation of the $1 million giveaway. And if you're interested in doing something like that, yeah, that's crazy. I think $1 million from the insurance company on a 1 in 250 probability costs about 16,000 Australian dollars, $500,000, 8,000. I think you can get a $100,000 prize for around about $2,000, and I think you get a $50,000 prize for about $1,000, all based on a 1 in 250 probability at the end draw, by the way. If you're interested in getting the blueprint for our insured prize promotion, which is a 40-something page blueprint showing you exactly where to get the insurance premiums, showing you exactly how to put it together and lots more case studies, then just look under the product section of our website here and you can see how you can get it immediately with an immediate download. Thanks for watching.